questions.
Yep.
We go from there.
We're rolling, boys.
You ready?
We're ready.
All right, Eric Stromquist here again, RealComm, IBCon, the product showcase. I'm here with Will Winn from SmartCore. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to us.
Thank you, sir.
Well, what are you seeing here that's impressing you?
There's actually a lot of solutions that us as being an expert in this regard that we weren't aware of that's allowed for me at least, and what I'll pervade back into our company to potentially tweak some of the solutions that we're doing already. So people keep coming out with new and better solutions to get to the same place, and that's cool.
Let's talk about what you guys do, because it almost seems like all this technology is great, but if you're an owner, there's so much to sift through, and things in theory work together, but in reality maybe don't. Sort of where you guys fit in a little bit, right?
Yeah. So two points from that. One is a term called Master Systems Integrator gets used often. We have our biased version of that, which is looking at all of the low voltage systems. This is heavy in regards to the building automation, the HVAC controls, some of the lighting controls, etc. But we look at all of those different systems, whether they be fire and life safety, physical security, some of the traditional Division 27, which is your communications, AV, etc. We take all of those systems and push them into a common GUI interface that we call SmartCore, so that a building owner, a property manager, a tenant, a service provider can all come to that secure GUI interface, as you know with Fred, who works with us, to manage a building. And so that can be in an owner-occupied setting, that can be in a multi-tenant setting. The second part of your question is in regards to these technologies, which goes back to my first point. We have a technical reference architecture that we built purposely, as we like to call it, so that this can all be done with the tier 1 providers that do bits and pieces of that, whether we're using the Niagara framework or the energy analytics from the Sky Foundry or a visualization tool from a J2 that integrates back over the web to a CMMS platform. That's how we make all these things happen. But new companies keep coming up with kind of a better mousetrap to get to the same place, and that's really cool.
And so you guys would sort of research that technology, an owner goes, I want to use Scott Duncan's low boats or something like that, and you guys go, well, let's check Scott's system out and see if it's going to work right, if it's going to interface, tell an owner where the gotchas are and stuff like that. Although Scott Duncan's system is probably bulletproof. But
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. But I think this is a key piece, because again, getting everything to work, and you use the word secure.
Yep.
And I mean, at this conference, we keep hearing cybersecurity as being one of the key pieces. And you guys are uniquely positioned. You guys are already good at it.
Yeah.
And now you got Fred Gordy, who comes from the building automation side and understands that. So.
Well, we came from the IT side of the world. So I did a presentation a couple of weeks ago in Colorado that I know we were both at, and my presentation was on cybersecurity. So my point for mentioning that is in the IT space, which is where myself and my business partner came from. These were conversations that we were having with IT folks in the mid-90s.
Wow.
And so I'm kind of having a deja vu of sorts 20 years later in the physical building world, because it's now that conversation is becoming hot, but we were working with VPNs to firewalls to intrusion detections to softwares to methodologies for authentication and things of that nature. So that's all natural. So we come in with that kind of networking IT flair to what it is that we do, which again is different. Getting back into the building world, which is another concept that gets thrown out quite a bit, is you've got IT, which we know really well, which for whatever reason gets talked about as a CapEx type of play, and then you've got OT, which is the OpEx type of play, which is really where the spin comes in here, and now people are slamming those together, calling it the BIoT. So to me, these acronyms and these terminologies, the big datas and all these things that we hear, it gets a little bit confusing, and I wish, I think we all as a group need to try to throttle that a little bit, because it causes a lot of confusion for building owners and even providers. But that gets back to a new construction type of application and an existing infrastructure application. So when we go back in and purposely design these things, we're writing specifications. If you've got an existing building infrastructure, then you need to figure out how to tweak some of those systems and then layer on some of the software that you may have from an analytics or a visualization tool that, there's a lot of providers here. And that's more of an OT play than an IT play. If that makes any sense.
It does. Describe your typical customer.
So our typical customer is usually a Fortune 500 building owner.
Okay.
So these are people that have large portfolios of buildings and or are building new buildings. If it's not a Fortune 500 company, it's somebody within the ecosystem that's usually serving those building owners. So that could be an architect, an MEP, a general contractor, a commercial real estate company that's doing the development. So those are our typical customers. Again, our business is kind of split in the middle again, from private to public to new construction to existing building infrastructure. So it's kind of unique in that way.
So as you know, we, as a distributor, we have a bunch of systems integrators we work with. It seems like if they got on a bigger project, bigger scale than they needed to put that other layer over connectivity, they could come and work with you and
they could
partner, right?
They could, and we're very easy and flexible to work with. Our kind of DNA is all about driving intelligence and getting data from the building so that a building owner or whoever is going to be able to do something intelligent with that data can. And as you well know, unfortunately, in the world of buildings and the ecosystems that get that supported, you have siloed infrastructure, you have proprietary protocols, and so we try to work with anybody that's within that ecosystem all the way down to help them get to that data, which is gold, right? And once they've got that data, then they can start to do some very intelligent things.
How do people get hold of you? Our viewers, how would they find you guys?
We're on the web, so www.smartcore.com, or we've got an 800 number that's on our website, and you can catch up with us on LinkedIn or Twitter and Facebook. But we want to be heavily involved with control trends and with the movement that you guys are working with. So if we can help you all out or anybody else out, just let us know.
Appreciate it. Will Winn, smartcore.com. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well done.